From our studio in Georgetown, this is the TV Delmarva Channel 14 News at 4.
Hello and thank you for tuning in to TV Delmarva Channel 14 News. Straight ahead, an exclusive interview with the president of the Delaware State Sportsmen Association, who tells us that they're prepared to sue a pair of gun control measures in the House should the governor sign them into law, calling them unconstitutional. Delaware State Police are investigating the death of a man found at Baywood Golf Course in Millsboro. An update to the investigation. And a search warrant in Dover uncovers a stockpile of drugs at a hotel room. The scary details and charges the suspect faces. These stories and more are coming up, but weather first with meteorologist Hunter Alton.
Hello and good Thursday, Delmarva. Well, we definitely have a big improvement in those weather conditions as we head into the afternoon hours today, because last night we had some rounds of thunderstorms in the vicinity, but the good news is most of the severe weather was actually just on the other side of the bay, and we were just spared with some heavy rain at times and even a little bit of some flooding concerns for the northern portions of Newcastle County this morning. But like I mentioned, much better conditions as we head into the afternoon hours today. Taking a live look outside of TV Delmarva Studios here in Georgetown. The sun has returned. We still have those daytime heating cumulus clouds out there. But the only bad thing is we have been seeing some fairly breezy conditions across the region today, noticing with the camera shaking like it is. But nice comfortable temperatures as well for the most part. Currently 84 degrees here in Georgetown. Take a look at satellite and radar. That cold front is well off of the East Coast right now, and all we have is just some daytime heating clouds out there, and a lot of these will begin to dissipate once we get closer towards sundown, and we're going to be looking at a fairly cloudless night for the most part. But we will be looking at a fairly nice Friday as well, with temperatures a little bit cooler than what it is today, but clouds will be on the increase tomorrow night with some more rain chances for the start of the weekend. Now let's have a look at these conditions elsewhere on Delmarva this afternoon, and like I mentioned, nice comfortable temperatures across areas of Delmarva today. Currently 85 degrees for Salisbury, 86 for Pocomoke City, even 84 degrees right along the oceanfront in Ocean City. 82 for Easton and Centerville, 83 in Dover, and a little bit cooler up north in Wilmington and Newark at 79 degrees. We have been noticing the dew point's been dropping this afternoon. It was in the 70s when we first woke up today, but now dew points have now fallen to near 60 degrees, and even some 50s are showing up here on the shore. The only places that's seeing some higher humidity is down towards areas of the Virginia counties in Exmoor and Cape Charles, but the winds have definitely been on the increase as we head into the afternoon hours today, generally from the northwest between about 10 and 15 miles per hour sustained, but we have been seeing some wind gusts get over 30 miles per hour at times. Currently gusting to 27 here in Georgetown, 25 for Salisbury, 21 miles per hour in Ocean City, a little bit stronger in Centerville at 27, 28 for Dover, hitting 30 miles per hour in Newark and even over 32 in Bel Air at this time. Now we do have some good conditions going into the overnight hours tonight with mostly clear skies. Friday will feature some sunny conditions, especially during the daytime hours, but rain chances will be on the increase for the start of this coming weekend. I'll have more details regarding that rain threat here in just a little bit.
Well, a pair of gun control bills before the House may be in for a legal fight, as TV Delmarva has learned that the Delaware State Sportsmen Association plans to sue once the bills are signed by Governor John Carney. Jeff Haig is the president of the DSSA, who says that while the organization usually has a seat at the table for gun legislation, there was no invite this time around.
They would reach out and talk to us. We would help come up with a solution that works. And we've done that. The red flag law. I work with myself and another person work with Representative Dave Benz over the course of several months to develop a red flag law that is now, something that can be held out for the rest of the country as an example of how do you protect rights at the same time keeping people that should not have a firearm, that have a mental problem, from getting a firearm or taking it away so they can't harm others. That was a bipartisan bill. There was no dissent, passed both chambers, as fast as it could. The debate had already been done. All the parties, both sides had looked at it, had taken care of things. Why can't we do that in this case? Why does it have to be a knee-jerk reaction? And then, clearly, as Representative Longhurst said, she didn't care if it's unconstitutional. They're going to pass it. Sue us. That's a standard refrain. So in the meantime, the state association will file lawsuits because we believe that they're unconstitutional and are not the solution. It's not that we're not looking for the solution. We would really love to come up with a solution, but they're not even attempting to do that. There's no negotiation. There's no talk about how do we deal with this.
Now, House Bills 450 and 451 would ban certain assault weapons in Delaware, along with increasing the age to purchase a gun from 18 to 21. There was a public hearing held on both of those bills yesterday. Haig tells us that there's a problem with the list.
And it's ironic that in their efforts to ban these semi-automatics, the list they're using is from 1993. This list was the original Clinton gun ban that Congress passed that had an effect for 10 years. And after the 10-year period, Congress looked at it. It was studied to see what the impact was, and the impact was negligible. Therefore, Congress didn't reauthorize it. So the things that the President Biden is saying and that have been said here in Delaware that gun ban made an impact are absolutely untrue. And I'm being kind. Actually, they're lies. And it's lies that they keep perpetuating and putting out there no matter what the facts are. They don't care. They don't care what the facts are. And it's so frustrating that you can look at the studies and see exactly what's going on. Yes, the firearms on that list are from 1993. There's at least 8 firearms in that list that have never been available to the public because they're military or they're foreign, or the manufacturer is not in business anymore. So what is that? That tells me they're not doing their due diligence and looking at the issue. They're just doing a knee-jerk reaction. Let's pull this bill from Maryland. Maryland pulled it from the feds. Let's do that.
Haig says that while the shooting in Uvalde and other mass shootings across the country are tragic, better solutions need to be implemented. He is calling for solutions to mental health, tougher prosecution on gun violations, especially in Delaware, cracking down on gangs, and better security at schools.
It was mentioned several times yesterday that Delaware has put minuscule amounts, ridiculous amounts of money into school security. And again, it's a partisan issue. Republicans have advocated for millions of dollars to be spent to harden schools, to make it so the bad guys can't get into schools. Representative Danny Short held up his badge that gets him in and out of Legislative Hall. That doesn't happen in schools. School resource officers. So they're part of the solution. Harden your schools, train teachers to spot things, to do things. How do you respond in an active shooter situation? School resource officers. There's several districts that have gone to their own expense to hire school resource officers in every school. So they're there not only to spot bad guys, but also to help out. They befriend the kids. They help the kids understand that police are not bad people. That needs to be done.
Now, both bills have moved out of committee and goes before the full House for a vote. Well, Delaware State Police are investigating after the body of a 65-year-old man was found on Baywood Golf Course in Millsboro. According to Delaware State Police, around 5:40 Tuesday, troopers responded to the area of Longneck Road and Banks Road for reports that a body had been found on the property of Baywood Golf Course. The victim, a 65-year-old Millsboro man, was located on the property of the golf course and pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation is still ongoing at this time, and identification of the victim is pending notification to the next of kin. The Delaware State Police Homicide Unit is actively investigating this incident. Detectives are asking anyone with information regarding this case to contact Delaware Police at 302-741-2859. A Dover woman was arrested on felony drug charges after police say a search warrant executed at a local motel turned up heroin, cocaine, and a slew of other drugs. According to Dover Police, officers obtained a search warrant for a room at the Kent Budget Inn on North DuPont Highway following a drug investigation. Now, during the search, police say 40-year-old Amber Howard, who was staying in the room, was found to be in possession of 142 bags of heroin, 10.2 grams of cocaine, 5.6 grams of MDMA, 12.4 grams of crystal methamphetamine, and 36.7 grams of marijuana. Wow. Howard was arrested without incident and released on a $7,300 unsecured bond on these several drug charges, which you can view on our website at tvdelmarva.com. Well, Delaware health officials say May was a deadly month for drug overdoses in the first state, and a reminder to people about ways to help. This past May, 42 people died from suspected overdoses, according to the Division of Forensic Science. 12 of those deaths were in Sussex County and 5 in Kent County. The vast majority of those deaths were connected to fentanyl, which is a synthetic pain reliever that is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. Delawareans struggling with substance use disorder can call the DHSS Division of Substance Abuse and Mental Health 24/7 Delaware Hope Line at 1-833-9-HOPE-DE or 1-833-946-7333. A website, helpisherede.com, is also available. In addition, under Delaware's 911 Good Samaritan law, people who call 911 to report an overdose and the person in medical distress cannot be arrested for low-level drug crimes. Coming up, the FBI raids the home of a man accused of threatening to kill a Supreme Court justice. The full story when the news continues. Well, the FBI has arrested a 26-year-old California man for threatening to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh outside of his home yesterday. According to a complaint obtained by TV Delmarva News, the man identified as Nicholas John Rosk allegedly called 911 to report himself for the crime he was about to commit. When officers from the Montgomery County Police Department arrived, they found a gun on him, ammunition, pepper spray, a knife, zip ties, and duct tape, along with other hostage-related items. He allegedly also told police he was upset with the May 2nd leak of a draft opinion leaning towards an overturn to Roe v. Wade. A federal judge in Maryland charged Ross with attempted murder. Protesters have been at the home of the conservative judge and others since his address was leaked out, prompting added security and condemnation from President Joe Biden. Now, Republicans have also pointed to a speech made by Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer in 2020 that Justice Kavanaugh and other Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch would, quote, release the whirlwind and would, quote, pay the price when the Supreme Court heard a case related to Louisiana's abortion law. Well, it was a beautiful start to the morning heading into the station, but the humidity definitely picked up later in the day. Let's get a preview of your pinpoint weather forecast with meteorologist Hunter Outen.
A nice and comfortable night ahead with fairly cloudless skies for the most part with calmer winds. Friday is looking dry and sunny for the most part, but we will see those rain chances return for tomorrow night and really increase for the chances once we get into Saturday. Drier weather is on the way starting on Sunday with a slight increase in those temperatures as well. Now, how much more rain are we looking to get? I'll let you know when we come back here on TV Delmarva, Channel 14 News. Alrighty, Delmarva, let's get right into the pinpoint forecast for the overnight hours into the day on Friday, and it is definitely an improvement from what it was last night when we were dealing with all the strong thunderstorms, especially on the Maryland Western Shore, but we did get some beneficial rainfall throughout the morning hours. But tonight, we're going to be looking at plenty of mostly clear skies and a nice cooler night in store as well. Very, very comfortable temperatures of 58 to 63 degrees with some light winds from the northwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Take a look at futurecasts rest of the afternoon and evening hours into the day on Friday. This is 8 o'clock this evening. Now, all the clouds that we've seen earlier are now well off of the coast here and we're left with some nice crystal clear skies for the most part. Temperatures right around the mid-70s. And going into the heart of the overnight hours, still areas of central and southern Delmarva are going to be remaining fairly cloudless for the most part, but there is a little bit of some cloudy activity across areas of the extreme northern portions of Delmarva, including the Maryland Western Shore towards Westminster and Frederick, Maryland. But then waking up tomorrow morning, we got plenty of sunshine. Temperatures are already warming up into the upper 60s to about 70 degrees. And we're in for another great day, especially during the daytime hours on Friday. Temperatures are getting back into the 80s once more, but we are starting to see an increase in clouds from the northwest during the early afternoon hours, and then by 8 o'clock, temperatures have now fallen down to near about 70 degrees here in central Delmarva, to a little bit warmer in areas of Newark and Wilmington and in the mid-70s, but we're definitely starting to see more of a wave and increase in those clouds. But then during the overnight hours, we are going to be watching out for the chance for some isolated showers across the northern tier of Delmarva, with temperatures into the lower 60s, and then even more rain chances once we get into the day on Saturday. Friday forecast overall, we got partly sunny skies. Clouds will be on the increase later on towards the evening hours. Nice comfortable temperatures once again, 80 to 84 degrees, with some light winds still continuing from the northwest at about 5 miles per hour. Take a look at the allergy index for your Friday. Now we do have a little bit of an increase in those pollen counts, 7.1 out of 12 on that scale, medium-high conditions, and still the only allergen right now is in the form of grass pollen. Now we're going to switch gears and take a look at the beach forecast for the Atlantic on your Friday. Partly sunny skies, 71 degrees. That water temperature did drop just a smidge at 67 degrees. Winds will be from the northwest between 5 and 10 miles per hour. Seas of 2 to 3 feet. And with that sunshine in the forecast tomorrow, the UV index will be on the high side of about 9. Take a look at the Delaware Bay. Partly sunny skies, 73 degrees. Water temperature still the same at 67, with winds from the west at about 10 miles per hour, and the seas will be less than 1 foot. And then at Chesapeake Bay, partly sunny skies, warmer at 80 degrees. And take a look at that water temperature in the Chesapeake Bay right now, 75. Nice and comfortable out there, with winds from the west at about 5 miles per hour, with seas of less than 1 foot expected as well for the Chesapeake. Now, as we get into the overnight hours tomorrow night, going to be increasing clouds, mostly cloudy skies, and a chance of an isolated shower, especially after midnight, with still some fairly comfortable temperatures overall, 60 to 65 degrees, with some light winds from the northwest at about 5 miles per hour. Now going a little bit further into the future towards the middle portions of June, thanks to the Climate Prediction Center, the next 6 to 10 days for temperatures, we're going to have a large ridge of high pressure developing across the southern Gulf states, and that's going to be keeping temperatures well above average pretty much for the eastern 2/3 of the nation, and even our neck of the woods. It's going to be seeing some above average temperatures, not quite seeing oppressive like near 100 degrees or anything. That will be left down in areas of Alabama and Mississippi. And even going into the 22nd of this month, that heat will begin to build back towards the central plains and even the Gulf states, but still we're on the leeward side of that. We'll be a couple degrees above average once we get into the mid to late portions of this month. As far as precipitation wise, very, very dry conditions for the central U.S. No surprise with that ridge of high pressure out there. Over our neck of the woods, about average for precipitation. And then once we get into the later portions of the month, we're going to be looking at a larger ridge of high pressure developing across areas of the central U.S., keeping things relatively dry for the most part here in the eastern half of the United States. Now let's take a look at that extended outlook over the next couple of days. We still got rain chances going into the overnight hours on Friday, but definitely going into Saturday, though, we have a much better chance, an 80% chance of showers at that, with temperatures much cooler into the lower 70s. We got drier conditions going into Sunday. Temperatures rebounding near average at 80 degrees with partly sunny skies. Even warmer going into Monday, though, where we're going to be getting fairly close to 90 with partly sunny skies. And then those temperatures will be continuing into the mid-80s for the most part for the mid to late portions of next week, with the next rain chance being on Thursday.
Coming up, health experts say the higher price and inflation is not only affecting your wallet, but mental health as well. Details are on the way next. Well, high prices and inflation may be taking a toll beyond your wallet. It can also be a big impact on your mental health. Newsnet business reporter Andy Hirschfeld explains.
Money and mental health. The inflation woes gripping much of America is only making the country's mental health crisis worse. According to a recent poll from Harris Polls and the American Psychological Association, a whopping 87% of Americans have heightened stress because of the rising costs of goods and services. The APA was shocked by the findings, saying in part, quote, "These more recent findings were alarming, with more adults rating inflation and issues related to the invasion of Ukraine as stressors than any other issue asked about since the Stress in America survey began in 2007. A separate study from Bankrate found that women are more likely to have financial-induced anxiety than men, 46% to 38% respectively. Millennials are facing worse stress than any other generation. And it's no surprise gas prices are ticking up at a record pace, now coming in at $4.95 a gallon on average nationwide. That's up almost 30 cents from this time a week ago. Interest rates also trending high, bearing stress on homeowners as well as borrowers. The most recent Case-Shiller Home Price Index report jumped almost 20%. Rents are also surging by almost 20%. On top of that, there are massive concerns that this problem will lead to more deaths of despair. Studies in 2020 found that government assistance from the COVID-19 pandemic actually reduced rates of suicide, as pointed out by the magazine Slate. For many poor people, the pandemic money exceeded regular social assistance and wages they would have otherwise earned. Poverty dropped in the U.S., and despite all the grief and isolation and anxiety, suicide rates dropped along with it. In Canada, where emergency government payments were large and lasting, the suicide rate dropped 30%, according to provisional data. The stigma around mental health is on the decline even pre-pandemic. According to a survey from the APA, 87% of Americans say having a mental health issue is nothing to be ashamed of. Prominent celebrities opening up about their struggles have only helped deconstruct the stigmatization. In New York, I'm Andy Hirschfeld reporting.
Weather Classroom is sponsored by No Nonsense Office Machines, committed to providing quality products and services with over 15 years of experience here in Sussex County. All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's weather lesson we will be talking about numerical weather models. The history of using mathematical models to forecast weather and water can be traced all the way back to the early 20th century, but only became useful with the invention of computers. Once computers were available, however, numerical weather prediction quickly evolved. As computing power grew, forecasts were able to be computed more regularly, but their skill level falls very below the manual techniques of what they were at that time. Then into the 1970s, increased computing power combined with an influx of new observations, including satellite data, kickstarted the field of weather modeling as they began to compute more data with more speed and skill at the same time. In modern times, continuing advancements have allowed for more complex models to be run at a finer scale over the globe, further increasing their predictive skill. Scientists have also developed what we call ensemble modeling. In this method, the same model is run multiple times with the initial conditions slightly altered. This procedure outlines a multitude of potential outcomes where the differences in the individual model forecast can help assess the uncertainties in the forecast. All weather models work on the same basic principles, solving a large number of complex equations for various locations at both the surface and different heights of the atmosphere. These equations solve for many parameters such as temperature, dew point, wind speed, in addition to many others as well. Once all these calculations have been completed for a given time step, the solutions can be put together to form a picture or a map of what the future state of the atmosphere looks like based on the model's calculations. This new set of variables is then inputted back into the model and then repeated many times over, giving us a range of forecasts valid from a few hours to many months into the future.
All right, one more check of the forecast with Hunter. I got to ask, had a little bit of a lightning show last night. Do we have more storms on the way?
Well, we did see a couple storms last night, but many of them stayed over on the Maryland Western Shore for the most part. But the good news is we are done with the thunderstorm chances as of now, but we do have a fairly nice night ahead with comfortable temperatures and some fairly clear skies at that. But going into Friday, though, we will be dry and sunny for the most part during the daytime hours, but more rain chances will be back in the region for the start of this coming weekend.
All right, thank you, Hunter, and thank you for tuning in to TV Delmarva, Channel 14 News. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at TV Delmarva and our website, tvdelmarva.com, for real-time news and updates throughout the day. I'm Jonathan Mistrot reporting. Have yourself a great evening.